name's Taylor Kutra, and I'm an astronomer at the University of Toronto. I study how planets form from the protoplanetary disk. A protoplanetary disk is a disk of material that forms around a star after star formation. As a star collapses from a molecular cloud, it starts to spin faster, the same way that a figure skater, when their arms are sticking out, spins slow, but then they pull their arms in and they spin fast. But what happens to the figure skater's skirt when she pulls in her arms? It flutters up. So if the figure skater is the star, then the skirt is the protoplanetary disk. And it's in this disk, this skirt, that the planets form. There's originally just a bunch of dust and maybe some little pebbles. And then they conglomerate, they smash into each other, and at the end, you end up with planets. So we used to think these disks were relatively featureless and kind of looked like pancakes. But recent observations from the Atacama Large Millimeter Array in Chile show striking features. There are gaps and rings and spirals and arcs. One of the things that I work on is trying to make those features without invoking any planets. I study something called the irradiation instability. The irradiation instability occurs when a little piece of gas in the protoplanetary disk gets a bit hot, and hot gas expands. So if you have a piece of gas that expands, it can actually pop out over the surface of the disk and see more sunlight. And since it can see more sunlight, it continues to get hotter and expand more and hotter and expand. All the while, it starts to shadow the gas that's behind it. So that gas actually gets colder. And we think over time, what this can do is it can create these gaps and rings that we see with ALMA. The gaps and rings are important because it helps save debris in the disk from falling into the star. When little pieces of dust are perfectly entrained in the gas, they move like the gas. But the gas actually moves slightly different than dust. It's slightly slower. So when the grains of dust are not fully entrained in the gas, they actually feel a bit of a headwind, kind of like when you're riding a bicycle. But this headwind is so strong that it actually steals energy from the dust grains. And when it steals that energy, those dust grains fall in. So it turns out that this energy exchange is the greatest for objects that are approximately 1 meter in size. This is the so-called meter barrier. So the biggest problem in planet formation is turning little itty bits of dust that are perfectly entrained in the gas, like dust in your window, into bigger than meter-sized boulders that can move and don't care about the gas anymore. And we need these features because it actually stops the drift of pebbles and rocks from falling into the sun so that they can make planets instead. I think the coolest part about this instability is that you can take something that should be pretty boring and turn it into something magnificent. And all you need for that is starlight. Nothing special, just the star.